would do absolutely anything for you. For only $19.95! So, let me get this straight. I can just say anything and you're going to animate it? Well, with this kind of power, I can... I got nothing.
I'll get you next time. Seriously, why do I always let you pay for lunch?
No more.
Can you come out and play with us?
Are you sure you actually want me to play with you?
It's like a thunderstorm right now.
So, it'll be fun. Come on. But like, you guys always ditch me.
No, we don't. You're just too sensitive.
Fine. So, what do you guys want to do? So, you're the oldest. What do you want to do?
I wanna go home.
We'll be right back! Every stinking time.
Can you come out and play with us?
Are you sure you actually want me to play with you?
There's like a thunderstorm right now.
So, it'll be fun. Come on. But like, you guys always ditch me.
No, we don't. You're just too sensitive.
Fine. So what do you guys want to do? So, you're the oldest. What do you want to do?
I wanna go home.
We'll be right back! Every stinking time.
Hopefully that'll work. I hope. Good. Let's see. Alright. Please continue to work. Well, I would say that's a bit more clear than it has been in the past. Whatever will make it work. I can't get the display capture to work at all. So, let me pull up my chat stuff. Alright. I swear, like, every freaking thing wanted to update today, like 4 times. And it's supposed to be snowing and freezing cold, like really cold today, but it's totally warm enough to play Pokemon Go. And it's not raining well, off and on. Is it raining? Or is that just the wind? I don't know. I could have played Pokemon Go. But I'm not. I probably won't be able to stream tomorrow unless I'm streaming from Boston. I have to go to the doctor. No, I'm going to be in North Quincy, actually. Is that considered Boston? Some people might consider that Boston. It's working. Am I not broadcasting? Am I not broadcasting? I thought I was. What happened? No, this says I'm still broadcasting. I'm not uploading anything, am I? No? This, I swear. It's like Murphy's Law today. There we go. There we go. Yay! I'm broadcasting. So, it's been a crazy day. I figured out how to stream Pokemon Go. Oh yeah, my water is definitely hot. I have reheated the water so many times I lost count. And I had to reboot my computer at least 6 times. So like half a dozen times. Easy. Yay, broadcasting. Alright, what am I going to paint? What was I painting last time? So I was adding color to the blue parts and these yellow parts. And I hope that's showing. It doesn't look as clear. A lot of the software has updated, so please don't turn that off. Okay, and so everything's kind of weird right now. I think I know I streamed some like animation. Was it Monday or Sunday or Saturday or I don't know. I'm getting old, so I can't keep track of time anymore. It's just not working in my brain very well anymore. And I had to redo it all over again because as I was doing it, I started to figure out like, yeah, this isn't gonna work mechanically. And why is it doing this? Stop doing that. I have to start all over. And there we go. Are you gonna stay open now? Or not? And I had to, believe it or not, approach the animation. It's supposed to be like puppet animation and vectors and curves and things like that, and I cannot get the curves. I don't know how to do curves in it. And I had to approach it kind of like a traditional anyway, even though it's like curves that it's like keyframe editing, but like not traditional. So I figured out that if I pivoted the tail, that it was easier to animate if I keyframed each thing like I was gonna do it traditionally, but moving it, and then add more keyframes, and then in between that I could give it more of a what do you call it? More of a sway, and I mean it still looks weird though, but that's why I'm not a fan of puppet animation. Like, I don't hate puppet animation, it's just that I don't love doing it. I like to draw, and I like traditional, like, I swear, I could do it, I could animate it a lot better if it was traditional, but it's the Inktober stuff, and the point is to do it with the Inktober stuff, so it's like a hybrid of traditional art and digital, and straight up 3D, as well as vector, like Puppet Pen tool. So Pebbles, you have, Pebbles, are you still there? So you have like Creative Cloud now, right? You'd probably be good at puppet animation, I guess. Like everybody else would probably be good at it except me. I'm like, okay. Dang it. I'm like so-so. Like a lot of people really like the puppet. See, why does it keep doing that? It's not supposed to do that. So a lot of people really like the Puppet Pen tool. Yeah, so you're there. I see people use it for video and photos and what do you call it? Like GIF animations a lot. In After Effects. It's pretty easy. It's like this mesh thing that it does. It's kind of, see, that's the thing, like 3D is basically a 3D version of vector. Basically vectors. But it takes the pixel image and it makes a mesh out of it. Actually, it could do vector as well. And like a vector image. And it vectorizes it, and then, because the word vector comes from like geometry and like what, calculus and like coordinates and stuff. I think, it came from like what, bombs or cannons or something, like World War I or something. I don't know, maybe even before that. It's like an old math used for cannonballs or something. Anyways, that's don't really think how that's turning out. Come on! So I have to go to the doctor tomorrow at 1 because I need a referral for my chiropractor that I went to on Monday, and I wanted to stream more art stuff this week, but the weather couldn't decide what it wanted to do, and it kept deciding to go warm, and so it got really warm, and then it got even warmer, and so it was crazy playing Pokemon Go, and I figured out how to like stream it, and I didn't know you could do that, so I had to figure that out. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, it was like a crazy Pokemon catching fool. I talked to Niantic a few weeks ago, and I was like trying to get them to make more Pokestops around here. I met there's actually like apparently a community of gamers around here that play Pokemon Go, and I ran into some of them yesterday in the evening, in the late afternoon, early evening. And I cannot beat, there's this crazy raid boss. It's like this Evangelion looking Godzilla monster thing. What's it called? Pelika or something? And I can't. I cannot beat it. Its CP is like 54,000.8, something like that. Crazy. Or 0.7 something. That's crazy. And so all these guys, so certain guys would show up and then they'd leave because their other friends who were supposed to help them didn't show up. And then he'd like make a lobby, invite me into it, and then kept like quitting. So all of the Pokemon that I finally revived all died. Like, or they don't die anymore, they faint. They're like comatose. And then I met a few other people in that area as well. And I'm thinking about, what do you call it? So I downloaded Google Maps to my iPhone. And I'm also like Yelp Elite. I'm gonna add a bunch of things to the map when it gets like more like springtime. And there are so many things that are actually landmarks and sculptures and so on. And I really think also, like, do you have any idea how many hospitals and medical centers there are all up and down this main street right there, right out there? When you go to Boston and anywhere else, any other city, all the medical centers are Poke Gyms or Poke Stops. But not here. Not happy about that. So I was thinking if I could get more friendly with some of the local like players, that maybe I could get them to like petition Niantic to remedy that situation. Because I know at the end of last year, like at the end of the summer and sometime in the fall, they were saying that they were going to add more stops and stuff. But when I got a letter from Niantic, was it last week, I think, or the week before? They were saying that their main focus at the moment was like expanding geographically, which I have no idea what that means. So there's also some people around here that are obviously cheaters. Like there are some cheating people around here, I swear. Cause I go to the big place. Oh, I got an invite to a special event at Starbucks, which is down the street, for something on like the 14th. And do dragons count as fairies? Like are they like elemental creatures or something? Because like it's the big art thing this month is February or Fairy February. So Heather Hitchman's doing February, and then on Twitter it's Fairy February or something like that. And the animation I was doing was a dragon with like butterfly wings. That's probably going to be about the most complicated puppet, like animation puppet that I'm going to be doing, because the other stuff is just like butterfly stuff, but the dragon has like a tail that moves, that like kind of sways back and forth, and it's driving me crazy, but I want to make it work. And there's times where I like wuss out and then I'm like, I'm done with this for now. And then there's other times where like it just bugs me and then I keep going back to it, but it seriously overheats the computer. It seriously overheats the computer. So I was playing with it earlier today, which might actually be why my computer doesn't want to do the display capture. Is it working? Nope. See, the display capture is on. It's the top layer in my OBS, but it's like completely clear, which means it will probably work the very next time I do this. Yeah, I would say a butterfly wing dragon counts as a fairy. But then, like, other people count a lot of mythical creatures as, like, sprites or fairy or elementals or whatever. Who knows? I've been following a lot of interesting hashtags this week, so I chat a lot of times with Paul Bradley on Twitter because he's funny. He's hilarious. He's also very like soulful and deep at times and thoughtful. That's not the right word. Like he's very like, I don't know. He's a little like substance to him. You know, it's like he's cool to talk to. And he's like strong and also sensitive and, you know, we talked about like all kinds of stuff. And he's been posting a lot of cosplay stuff. So because it's February, so there's like a lot of things happening. So what? February is like President's Month, Black History Month, fairy. There's a lot of fairy stuff this month. There's all kinds of things that happen, and then there's like Valentine's or whatever, and Chinese New Year, which is also last month too, because there's like all these other holidays in the Spring Festival, not just Chinese New Year. Just wiped that. Stuff is all over the place. And so I was looking at all kinds of really cool like cosplayers and stuff like that, and I found this one girl who's in the top searches in YouTube for Morike or Morike or Mori Girl, and she's very soft spoken though, so I can't always like hear what she's saying, but she seems like a sweet person. Anything else? Yeah, I've been wanting to do this. I thought that I would just be able, originally I thought Sunday and maybe Monday, it would just be warm enough for me to go out and play Pokemon Go a little bit. And then it got like so warm and I was like, I am not going home. And then I thought, I didn't even think that Tuesday would be that warm. And it was really warm. So I was just playing Pokemon Go. I also just leveled up to 28. So. And I went through all the trouble to level up my, it's like a star thing, what's it called? Starmie or something? A star thingamajigger. And then there was, I guess because I was walking mine, it just decided, oh, here, have some. So I caught one or two. I think one of them was like its CP was just too low and its like stats were bad. And so then I went to go evolve it, and the one that I caught was actually the one I evolved because I'm an idiot. And now I still have my old one that I still have not evolved. I was so sad because I walked it and everything. So now I'm trying to, now I'm walking my, what is it called, not Charmander, Charizard or something like that? Why? I have a lot of those, and I have a number of Squirtles, and then, what was that? So there's all these like Spoinks, and the Spoinks, because right now it's like Chinese New Year, having like a Chinese New Year event, and the Spoinks have so many different varieties of moves and special like variations on them right now, that I had like a lot of them, and I didn't know which ones I wanted to keep or whatever, so I kept a whole bunch of them. I also like, expanded my Pokemon storage, so I have like, I can hold up to 450 Pokemon right now in my Pokemon storage. I hate when I evolve something, then 2 days later I get an achievement if I've evolved. I know, right? where it's like you work so hard to do something, you finally do it, and then like your field research is like, do this thing, and I'm like, I just did that. Or like you work so hard to evolve something. Like this has happened to me so many times. This happened to me a lot in like 2016 and 17. Like I worked so hard to evolve a certain Pokemon, right? And I go full in like for days and weeks and just trying to get like the next candy and whatever. I finally evolve it, and then like not even like what, an hour later, like it's out there in the wild with a higher CP. You know, after I just evolved it. That was another weird thing that happened, like, you know the Rapidash, which is like a fire unicorn? So I just evolved one when I was out. It was somewhere down there somewhere, and over there somewhere. And and I took a walk like maybe 5 yards, and there, one popped up with a really high CP, and I was so mad. So of course I caught it. Wow, you have up to 1,000 Pokemon? What level are you again? What are you, like 30? I'm only like 28. I'm only level 28, so I haven't been able to play that many raids because they always seem to happen when I'm not close enough. The weather's bad. I don't have like there's certain things I need or whatever, or I have something I have to do. Yeah, you're level 35. Wow, I'm only 28, so. So I heard that if you get to level 40, you could become a beta tester. But they keep changing, like all the links and everything have changed so many times I don't know what to believe anymore. And even when I emailed Niantic, they didn't tell me. I found, I have literally been, because I'm kind of obsessed with Pokemon Go right now, I had like different maps open, like I had Yelp and Yahoo, Google, and a few other things open, looking around here for things that fit the criteria for Pokestops and Pokegems, and I have a plan. Like I want to add certain things if they're not there, especially to the Google, because that's what the guy told me. He told me like it needs to be like a thing on Google or something, and so I downloaded Google Maps, and I'm gonna add stuff in that are landmarks that are not on the map, and hopefully those things can be turned into Pokegems and Pokestops. One thing we definitely don't have enough of is Pokegems. There are technically more stops, but even that's pretty low. So yeah, I was also thinking about like maybe doing a petition or whatever, or getting like an email campaign going. Like if I get to know some more of the gamers more in this area, like I played every day since Sunday. Okay, I played every day since Sunday, except for today. And I did not see anybody at all until yesterday. So, but it's weird because especially when I go to like Starbucks, they like as I'm battling in the battles, I can see when people are showing up because they're right there, but I can't see them in person. Like, where are they? They're like invisible. Like, and especially like if it's a day where it's very low amount of people at Starbucks. Like if there's only 3 or 4 people in the actual Starbucks, if that, and there's only like 2-3 cars outside, then somebody is cheating. Because the way that gym works is like you actually have to be close to where the Wi-Fi is. So I mean, I can sit outside on the bench and play it, but you have to like be there. You can't. There's not that much distance on the parking lot, so I could see if someone was playing it. And I don't think anyone could play at the bus stop across the street in the back of it. So, you want to see a close up of the wing? Sure. There we go. Is it working? That's about it. I mean, I can kind of push it in. There we go. So I'm actually working on these scales at this. There's these. So what I'm doing is, so for the most part, when it comes to metallics, I probably talked about this before. I like a dark base, especially black, and I didn't have the right black, so it's like a mix of glossy black and dark, semi-sweet chocolate brown paint that's matte. And the metallics show up really good, but for the gold, I like to have the matte yellow. But when I put the gold on without the yellow, it has a different look. So like I use both. So there's different techniques. It doesn't really show on the camera, but in person, that's kind of the sad thing. Like the other things that I painted, because I painted other things also for from this manufacturer, and I did like all this work and all this detail on it, and the camera, at least back at the time, the camera couldn't really see it, but then also like I feel like the lighting and the timing was probably a thing as well. So, and I don't know where the other things are that I painted. I also painted like Chinese dragons. Those I sold. Those are all gone. It's funny, like when I tend to do like Western kind of dragons, they tend to be like dark on the dark end, so, and cool colors usually. So lots of purples, blues, maybe greens, and then I'm liking the pop of color with the gold and yellow. Thank you. When it comes to doing like the Asian stuff, it's like I usually go the opposite. I usually go on the lighter end of things, lighter colors, like white, pearl, like pearly whites, off-white, yellow a lot of gold, lots of warm colors. But then I'll also put in like light blue. I like to use like turquoise blue or cyan blue or something like that, or aquamarine. I don't know why everybody is obsessed in Western culture with making everything green. Like dragons are always green, like emerald green. I do not know why. I'm wondering if it's because of like lizards, because even in like cartoons, they make alligators to be green, but in real life they're black. So, like I went to Florida in March last year, and I photographed the alligators in the Everglades, and they are so black. So I don't know why people make them green. And they're very scary. They're very scary. Maybe I want to use a different paintbrush. Can you see that? Here. I thought I could from this angle. There you go. I swear people really like it when I paint, and I'm not really a big painter. I get that even finding like my old paintings from like art institute or high school. Painting for me is just something that I do, like do for fun when I'm in the mood for it. I don't do it all the time. I don't really view myself as a painter. I like to draw usually, but I find it to be like relaxing. Things that I really actually like to paint for the joy of painting. This is too wet. So I do like to paint like figurines, which I had never realized that I like to do, but I do. And I've only done like a few in my whole life. So I like to paint that. No, I don't like this brush. But this is too stiff. And I like to do landscape. I can do portraits, but I'm so picky. I am so picky, and I get so frustrated, and I go into like this micromanagement like mindset that I get so aggravated, and then I hate it. Like I always get mad at like my blending, like oh I hate my blending, like oh I'm so terrible. Like it's like this weird self-hate fest. So I try to just not do it. I just like drawing better. Like honestly, if I had a choice between painting and pastel, drawing with pastel, I like pastel so much better. But for painting a figure, I don't know, I feel like painting the figure because it's already made, it's already there, that, I don't know, I guess for some reason I calm down. And same thing, another one is like sculpting, like clay. When it comes to sculpting clay, it's one of those things like I have to be in the mood for it, and I have to like, it's funny because it's like, I get all like scientific or pragmatic, my approach to it. So there's like a few tricks I should tell you about like acrylic especially. So your a spray bottle, definitely spray bottle. That's a good trick. So you can spray your palette when the consistency is too bad, rather than always adding water, because that's what I was originally taught, was to add water to it to like thin out the consistency. But then it can get dry or it can get too watery. And so I like the spray bottle. And then if you've mixed a color, because this palette knife is so old, I don't even know how old this is. I got this from when I was in high school from this jerk teacher, and he gave it to me because it's junk. It's broken too. I think someone at Art Institute broke it. Anyway, if you've mixed a color and you're done painting and you want to keep the paint instead of waste it, if you get like a margarine container or a yogurt container, like anything that has a lid that's disposable, that has a good seal to it, that definitely works. But it can only work, especially if you have like quite a significant amount of it. It can actually stay nice and liquid, nice and like wet actually. What I do is I put it on the lid, and then I put the bowl part of the container on top, rather than do it this way, like with the top on top. The top goes on the bottom, lid goes on the top. So that's my trick. I learned that in New Jersey from my second cousin, who I actually used to call my aunt, but she's actually technically my second cousin because she was an art teacher. I learned a lot of painting techniques from her. So I learned a lot of painting techniques from her, and I also from this jerk teacher I had at BCIT. And I definitely do want to make a painting tricks and tips kind of video, but I just have so many things I want to do on my plate that it's just kind of right now just something I want to do, and I want to get through these things. And if I just go off and do like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'll never get through all the other goals. So I want to finish these butterfly puppet animations and rework that film. I did some video editing on Roland's film, my friend Roland, and he is gonna get. So it's a good thing I video edited it. The actress who's the lead female role, now she's all happy, and so they're trying to work out like when we're gonna shoot this next part. So I'm hoping it's not like 19 degrees or something, because if it is, I don't want to go. I think we're gonna have to shoot it down in Rhode Island, and it's funny, like all these people are like really talented and stuff, but everybody has, you know, problems. So do Roland and I. And so many times where he bails on us, it's so frustrating. But I actually also went through like the old footage from the former DP, and the stuff that I shot that was reshot is like night and day different and better. Like you can see the difference between stuff she shot, stuff that, because we had different cameramen, and because the lead roles were recast a few times, and a lot of it was due to the fact that people were not getting along with the former DP, and then she fired herself. So she was basically having an issue with heroin. She was still doing it, and that's why she screwed stuff up. So as a way to punish herself, she took it out on us. Like, I guess that makes sense when you're losing your mind or something. I felt so bad because it's like, it was horrible, and I was so upset with her, and we were really like, we tried everything. We were like, we can work this out, we could da-da-da-da-da. And I understood that she had problems and stuff, but no matter what I did, it's always, that's the problem with people that are heroin users. They're always have a problem with it. And she totally went beyond, and then I was like, no, I can't, this isn't acceptable anymore. Like, no matter how much I loved you, no matter how much I care about you, like, we're done. And I didn't, and then, like, I couldn't even be mad at her because I knew she had a problem. It's messed up. It's just, like, if somebody does messed up things to you, but you know they had, like, a mental problem, like, for example, like, addiction. She had a few other mental illness issues that she was supposed to be working on. She was often very vocal and seemed to be proud of that she was working on it, which was why we were happy to have her on the phone, because we thought it was very constructive for her. But it was like, we were too good to her, and it was like, I guess she didn't like herself, but because we actually cared about her and liked her, because she didn't like herself, and she felt something was wrong with her, and then there was something wrong with us. You know, it was so sad, because I really liked her, and but whatever, her job's mine now, and I wish it didn't have to go down that way, but I used to think she is very talented, and she could do all this really great stuff, and she always seemed really knowledgeable, but we never checked any of the footage we never screened any of the footage she shot. So when I got promoted to be the DP, we sat down, and I was at UMass, we sat down to look at the footage. I screened it myself, and I was like, what is this? What is this? This is really bad. I can't believe we can't use any of it. It was so awful. It was just so bad. And I was literally studying, so I was minoring in cinema studies at UMass, because you couldn't major in it yet. They only had minors. But, and then on another note, there was a guy who was friends with her, and everybody liked this guy. His name was Dave. super amazing guy. She blamed all this stupid stuff on Dave, and Dave was totally powerless and totally innocent, and the people who actually did the thing that she thought was wrong, even though she let them do it. For whatever reason, she blamed this guy Dave, and it didn't make any sense, but Dave was black and everyone else wasn't. And so there's that. I was so glad when we finally got to see Dave again, because I hadn't seen Dave in almost a year back in the summer. I was like, oh my god, Dave, I miss you so bad. He's so funny and so talented. So he's so he's just amazing. He's like a carpenter too. He built some stuff for the film. Just a really cool, really good guy. You know. Alright, I think I'll let that sit. So a lot of times, one of the good things about this kind of a piece here, because it's very detailed, even though it's, in some ways it's simple, it's still a lot of things to work on. So if you really like to paint and like to blend and like the challenge of painting, this is one of those pieces that you'll love, because you'll be doing this for, I don't know, forever. And so I've been doing this since mid-January, off and on. The other ones that I worked on, I probably worked on for 1 to 3 weeks, depending on what it was, and it was every day, pretty much throughout the day and the night. And I can't really take that kind of approach at doing art anymore. I need to take breaks and not abuse myself. So. What else do I do? So you can see the gold here, actually. Here's there we go. So there's gold here on the black, and the gold here, or you can probably see here, the gold here on the yellow, and you can see that there's a difference. You can kind of see it, actually, because I can definitely see it on the screen here and there. I think it's kind of picking it up, but in person, it's completely different. So, it's harder to get into this kind of, you can't see very well. There. Can you see in there? So between the shoulders here, you probably can't see. Let me see. So between the shoulders, there's the scales there, and then there's also on the back. I'm gonna probably do those last. It was hard enough just to paint inside of it. So, and then I haven't really fully decided how I want to do all the feet. This is a mixture of stuff right now, but I'll probably layer on something else. And I'm not sure what I want the horns to be. They're black right now as the base color, but I might actually go white. And then this tail here. So this tail here has a little, see that dot? That dot is, so you can put a jewel there, and then it has jewel eyes too. So you can put the eyes, they're not really jewels, they're glass eyes, but they're kind of jewel toned. And then I have a felt thing for the bottom. And then if Roland does the film, if he does any filming, and then there's a scene that we need to do for the film, it's called The Congregation. So if we do that, I have to finish this headpiece for that scene, and since I'm the DP, I have a huge say over how it looks visually, and we've already consulted a ton of experts and so on about certain things, and now that I've been doing this a lot, there's certain things I want to do. But I'm not going to kill myself to get certain things done, though. I don't know if you can see here. Maybe you can see. But the wings here actually have feathers on the outside. So I'll probably do that like a starling, which is how I did I did a wolf, like a flying wolf. And that's how I did it. I had it like that. So I actually would like to redo another flying wolf as a white, or like a white pearly version, like with blue or blue tones or something. Because I did it with the dark tones. I really like the dark black tones and purples and cool tones and stuff, which is this one. So, and then I like how everything pops more, especially with the gold. Although this is just a yellow base coat for right now. And then this could possibly change a bit. What's my battery doing? Doesn't show. It's not showing the battery life. Huh? That's weird. Trying to think. I should put some gold there. I don't know. Maybe I should let the yellow set actually. And then for these scales here, I don't know, should I put the yellow or should I use a different color? I'm not sure. If I had like more of like a green, maybe? No, I don't know. Or should I go with the periwinkle? Or should I just stick with the yellow? I don't know. Decisions. I can't decide. But what I can do is lay down some gold in these black areas here. Put some blue in too. You grab it. So I have different blues. I have this blue. It's the other one? No, it's the same thing. There's another blue. Here it is. This lighter blue. So these are a lot of times the colors I like for more Eastern kind of dragons. All of the dragons I've done. What year was that? 2011, 2012, 2010, somewhere around there. They were almost always like with whites and blues, yellows and blues, or straight up golds and reds, like fire colors. So, and those were like Chinese dragons. So this one is like a Western dragon, and I usually tend to like to go more on the cooler end and the darker end. Let me see. How is it on there? Yeah, I have that blue there. Alright, I'll leave this yellow alone. I'll probably just let that set because when it's still fresh, it can come off when it gets wet, even with a different paint. So gonna come out. There you go. It's really struggling to come out. Want a tiny bit. Okay, well maybe that's why. Okay. Don't need a lot. Okay. That's weird. It's like stuck. Oh, please don't tell me. sure that these are on tight enough. Feels very like rubbery like glue. Great. Now I'm gonna get it all over my dragon. I'll be right back in like a second. I'm just gonna like rinse my hand. There. It likes to look at you. Kind of. Well, it doesn't have any eyes right now. I'll be right back. I really wanted to stream this morning, but life and technology was not on my side at all. I'd rather stream in the morning or earlier in the day because the light's better, but whatever. Now, that's it. It is what it is. So, alright, I'm gonna paint it in these and probably layer on the color a bit. So I'm gonna use a different brush. I have other ones here. I have like a lot of new brushes now because somebody stole all of my sable brushes, my vintage sable brushes, and either threw them away or stole them. So I have these fake things. It's just not the same. There's just nothing compares to sable, real sable, especially vintage ones. And I kind of don't believe the ones on Amazon that they're like actually sable brushes for like $19. Like, come on, are you sure about that? I don't think so. Like, that's a real sable brush. Nothing paints as good as a sable, and nothing blends as good as a sable. No other brush can shape as good as a sable or hold its shape. It's just not, it just doesn't happen at all. It's not a thing. Yeah, like, I mean, the way this goes on, it's just not the same as the sable brushes I had. Like my other ones, my older ones, I painted all of them with sable and some synthetic. The sable's just better. You hear me? No, you like to paint with sable too? So these Windstone edition figurines, they've become a lot more affordable. Also, the shipping is way better and way affordable now compared to what it used to be. Cause I bought them, like, when did I buy the other ones? The other ones I bought, like, was probably anywhere from like 2009 to 2012, somewhere in there. Kyle bought me one too, so. I was very happy. So I did a Keating or Chilean. I did a griffin and I did a winged wolf. I think that's it. And then everything else I did was like when you go to Chinatown, they have like these figurines of dragons and they're like cheap. They used to be expensive back in the day, but they're so common that, you know. And stop doing that. that it's pretty cool to paint on them, and then because he painted it, my husband sold it for like a lot more than the typical price because it's like one of a kind. But I feel like he sold them way too cheap for all the work I put into them. It's funny, like, he's actually a pretty good painter, but he can't paint the way I do, like, this style. He just doesn't. And when he saw how I painted those, he was like, I want to sell that. And then he was like, that's your job now. You don't have to get a job. Because he was trying to make me get a job at, like, I don't know, anywhere, CVS or something. And then he's like, no, just do this. So I did that for a while. And they all sold, all of them. I think most of them were bought by this old local lady. She probably bought most of them. But whatever. Is it getting that? He basically would pick out ones. He's like, okay, paint this one, paint that one. And they were like all different sizes. You guys paint that. So I did. A lot of those went a lot faster than this to paint. This is very detail heavy. So my computer's being a brat today, and if I got iTunes on, it would constantly want me to sign back into Apple iCloud or whatever, and then it wouldn't let me pick any music to play, or it would tell me my password wasn't working when it was the right password, or if it was on, it would want to, like, I don't know, do something, like, to the bandwidth, or, and then I couldn't get the other things in the other programs to work or load, and that's weird. Shouldn't do that. Okay. Ooh, that's a nice angle. That will probably show up. So for some reason I accidentally painted these purple. They shouldn't be. I guess. So I have like no music today, so I'm still having difficulties and issues with Streamlabs, even though it's like updated again, but I didn't feel like fiddling with it because I wanted to be like streaming by like 10:30 this morning, and that just did not happen. I was also hoping to stream pretty much every day this week, the art stuff, but I just got so into doing Pokemon Go that I was exhausted. I finally got out of the house, and my body was like, oh, I haven't moved around in a while. Now I'm tired. So yeah, that's the thing. You just gotta be patient with all this stuff, and you rinse the brush. Yeah, see, the consistency's wrong here. It's right? Oh no, it's out of frame. So the consistency is wrong. For blending, sometimes you'll want it thicker, sometimes you'll want it thinner. And for a really good blend that's not rough, depending, I mean, if you're doing with dry brush, that's a different technique. So I don't like this consistency. And so back in the day, we would wet the brush and, like, you know, go in and mix it. And so yeah, you want to have some glide, but you don't want to thin it out too much that you can't see any pigmentation, and there's a lot of this kind of thing happening. And now it's like all in the brush, and I know it feels like so wasteful, and then you just gotta rinse it off. So this is a 2-cup method, so you get cleaner effect. And then this is why it works better with sable. Sable is so much better. This is like a mix of synthetic and real hair, but I don't know what kind of hair this is. It looks like a sable, but it's not. It's so not a sable. And then if it was a sable, it's like a kind of fox. It'll hold that shape. So this one's more of like I've flattened it a bit. Other times you'll want like a pointier kind of shape. And then it depends on how you do it, or how you want it, or how you like your style. And now, because I don't like it, I have to start all over again, and you just have to be patient. You have to be patient with it. Yeah, I don't like that. Then I'll have to squeeze it out. There's other times where I'll get like paper towel and I'll like, which actually I have some here, but I don't want that. So my fingers will be all wrinkly at times. And it depends. Like there's times where it's just, this consistency is so awful. It's like wrong. And then there you go. Zoom. And then you just touch it on there, coat it on there. And if you like, there are like Asian styles of painting where they'll do certain things with strokes. That's actually pretty interesting. But they don't use the same paints, the different paints. Unfortunately, since I am doing this on top of the purple is going to show through, so I'll probably have to add more to that. Right now I just want to, see now it's too thin. Now I need it to be thicker. So you're constantly adjusting it and constantly manipulating it. You can manipulate the brush, manipulate the paint. And then at times if you overdo it, you might actually sort of scratch off or wipe off too much paint. So you don't want to do that either. What else should I do? Alright, that's all yellow. Trying to keep it symmetrical here. So I can add more color down here. These paints are old, so times when I will want it to have a certain texture that's rough, and other times I want that texture to be smooth. So I think for this I'd rather have a smooth because it's a dragon and I want it to look realistic, even though it's fantasy. And then I just build up layers of paint, and the thing with the metallics is the formula is kind of thin. That's why the darker base coat, it just makes it look better, especially after you're adding you're layering it up. Now if you have a lighter color, it works also, but you'll notice more, it's just, the texture looks different or whatever. The metallics just really look better on top of a black base or a dark base. It's just better. So, I think in the website, the Winston Editions website, for the manufacturer, their forums, I believe, actually recommend that too. So if you're working with metallics, I believe they actually recommend you to do it on a dark base. Alright. And now I have the gold. Oh no, what a mess. Now I'm gonna go to the golds here. These gold paints here. It's kind of this weird gold paint. I think my husband bought this paint. Where is it? No, there it is. It's like right here. It's this one here. It's actually it's right there. It's kind of, stop it. It's kind of thin. The pigmentation of it is pretty thin. So you really have to build it up. That's why the consistency needs to be just right. And you have to be patient with it. But I feel like part of that is what's soothing or gratifying about it. I do like to work on this kind of a piece. So oh, I saw a sneak peek of something Kyle was working on last night actually. I can't wait for it to come out. He did a, do you know what an animation map is, Pebbles? Are you still there? It's like when you cut, it's a multi-animator project map. Not the creepy map like the pedophile an animation map. So he did a Winnie the Pooh one. It's so quick, you barely see it. If you blink, you'll miss it, for real. I had to actually go back twice to be like, which one is Kyle's? So he's doing one of those now, and oh my god, I saw the rough parts of it, and it's traditional animation. It's very him, and it is a Disney movie. So I'm sure, I don't know when he'll be done with that. And he's working on it with John Barry. Actually, I like John Barry's stuff, so he seems to do a lot of stuff with John Barry lately. Actually, a lot of his stuff is with John Barry. Did you see his like Frog Raccoon? I think he did that. Yeah, Animation Map, MAP, multi-animator project. It's how you can, because animation is so time consuming. You should look this up. Like, go to YouTube and look up like maps or animation map. Heidi, you did animation maps, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, she's done a bunch of those. I actually haven't done any yet. Probably because I like have like my confidence is so shot. Like I'll cry. I'm gonna cry. Although like I wouldn't mind to do it. It'd be all rough looking though. It would have like a really rough animation map. I want to do more life drawings. I seriously want to do more life drawings. And if I think about it too much, I will cry and I will like feel suicidal and want to die. Like, okay, let's not talk about it. Yeah, so the animation communities online are really growing right now. So there's the animation meme communities, which is very heavy in young people, and I'm talking really young. So there's the dank meme communities, which is people like in their like mid-20s and younger. And then there's the dank memes, which is a lot of bad animation on purpose. Like it's kind of ironic, Dadaist. Oh, not Dadaist. It can be kind of Dadaist. It's sort of like if, like, you know how punk rock is like music made with noise and anger and aggression? Well, if you took that kind of a concept and applied it to animation, but using irony and humor and a weird commentary on society like that, like where something is bad on purpose and it's hilarious, it's kind of like taking net art from like the 90s, which was an art movement as well, and taking it in another weird direction. And it's like there's things like where people play like, do you know what a recorder is? It's like a woodwind instrument that's like sort of like a flute, only not a flute. And they'll play a melody really bad, like Titanic or something. And that's the meme, right? It's like ugly and hideous and sounds like noise on purpose. Or they'll like do something super repetitive. And so a lot of kids, little kids, were really into it. It's just kind of like how Heidi started. A lot of My Little Pony fans. I think that's probably where the My Little Pony audience went. They went into the dank memes and the animation meme community. And this is going well so far. Do I need to add more? Should I add more? Should I add some? Yeah, I probably should. Or what color should I make that? I don't know. Should I go with the plum again? I haven't decided. Or should I go with the blue? Yeah, maybe with this darker blue. Or should I go with the lighter blue? I can't decide. Turning my TV on. Could not hear you because of the going in and out. What was I talking about? I was talking about like animation meme communities. I was talking about the animation community and My Little Pony fandom and stuff. So alright. Alright, I will go with this. This will be gold. Yeah, art movements, art communities, animation maps. So do you remember doing like animation stuff at Art Institute, or like do you have a demo reel, or like what did you do? I don't honestly remember any of your work. I just remember doing like stuff with you a lot, but I don't remember ever doing any art stuff with you. Because I think you started like what, like at least a year after I was there. What year did you graduate high school? Because I graduated high school in '98. Oh yeah, so animation maps. Let me start over. So animation maps, can you hear me? Let me see if I can adjust my mic, maybe. Alright. fall. Please don't break. Skin are right. Anyway, so an animation map is, you know what? I could probably type it out. Hold on. It's a multi. And this kind of map is not the pedophile kind, so that's a different map. Animation. Go multi. Animation. Go animators. Project. So there's that. And you can find those all over YouTube, practically anywhere. You can find those in Newgrounds. I don't know about Vimeo, probably though. They even have them, like, I'm pretty sure on Twitter. Yeah, you can hear me fine. Woohoo! I would have the microphone closer to me, but like my situation, just it is what it is. So, yeah, and then they break up something. Like they'll take like either it's a video, music video, or a song, or there's the animate again category, which is what Kyle's working on. And I saw it, and it is, let's just say, it's a Disney princess film. I don't want to give it away. It's a Disney princess film, and it's famous for one of my number one famous animator artist ever. This person is particularly famous for designing this character. Even though, Mark Ken also claims that he designed her too. Whatever. I like Mark Ken. He's a good animator. All right, let me zoom in here. We'll zoom. Zoom. And anyway, Kyle got like a really good part, and he's working on it with John Barry, who I actually have the animatics from when have you ever read Kyle's webcomic from like a few years back, The Strawberry the Frog Raccoon? That's hilarious. Well, they did like an animatic, like as a pitch video. I don't know how that never became a thing, because I have the pitch video. And it is so good. It is so good. That is one of my favorite things that I've ever seen them do together. So good. It's amazing. And I did those golds, so I should probably do these gold. Yeah, the consistency of this paint is just, because these paints are old. Here, is it showing? No, it's not showing. I have another camera, but it's just, honestly, like, what was it? A 9 foot cable is still not long enough. Yeah. You know what? I have that. Maybe I should post it in like a Discord or something. I have 2 Discord servers so far, and I haven't decided which one is what, and so on. You know what else? Oh, come on. Did it just get mixed with blue? How did that happen? It probably was a drop that fell in there, that's why. Yeah. Yay, I like it. You should totally try this. Oh my god, if you were painting and you streamed it, like, I would so totally watch that. Like, that's so... People, like, I can see people popping in constantly. I get more people popping in when I'm painting on this dragon than when I do anything else. It's weird. It's so weird. I guess people just really like dragons, but people also really like painting, I guess. thinking about. I'm still considering stuff to do with my Patreon. It's not officially submitted or anything yet. But that's something I've been. Whoa. Hold on. What was that? Is anything happening? Oh, I think somebody went live, but I thought for a moment it was a raid. It's not. Yeah, you should totally do that. That and like, okay, so how you live what, far from Tess, or Tess? Oh my god, I so wish Tess would stream like this. She puts all her stuff on Instagram. I wish she would like stream that, because like she's so creative with like all the things she does. You know, she's such a sweetie too. Yeah, so this one is by Windstone Editions. It's easy to find. I would love to see what kind of colors you would come up with. I don't know, for some reason I would assume you would do like red or and oranges, like fire colors. So, alright, let's paint. Yeah, oh, so you're like 1 to 2 hours from Tess. She used to make jokes a lot back when I was on Facebook about how like she needs to stay away from craft stores because she'll buy everything, and that like she'd make jokes about her husband and crafts, and it was just really funny. So she doesn't live in Pennsylvania, or does she live like what, Pittsburgh or something, or? Oh my god, I so wish that she would like stream. Ah! So do you not get cable anymore? Because I haven't had cable since 2007. Dang. Yeah, I haven't had cable in a long time. I mean, I always assume that since it's like, I don't, like when I visited my dad in 2017, you were there, and so they had cable, like Comcast cable, and I was assuming it would be like good, because it's like, you know, the future, and it's not any better than the 90s. Like, digital cable is old. It's been around since like at least what, 98, 97, definitely 99. And it was expensive because it was new, and as technology gets better, it's supposed to get cheaper, except it didn't. And then they phased out analog. And like you can't even like flip through the channels yet. They promised me back in 2002 and 2003 that they were working on that. They haven't done anything with it. Because it's like an oligopoly. Why would they if there's no competition? No cable, just internet. Yeah. So I have an antenna. I want to actually build a fractal antenna. You can look up tutorials for that on YouTube. It's apparently easy, but I just never got around to it because if you know what fractals are, right? So if you make a fractal pattern with a wire, you can actually hook it up to the component to make a cable antenna, and you can just like solder it on, and then you plug it into your TV, and you can pick up signals from really far away. Regular antennas don't do that. That's why, like, you know, your cell phone, like it doesn't have an antenna on it, like a poking up antenna, because it has a fractal antenna in it. Because fractal antennas are way better. You could probably even find like templates about how to bend your wire. I love all that kind of geeky stuff. I love geeky stuff on YouTube. I've watched, here, hold on, let me zoom out at this a little, and there we go. I like geeky stuff like that, like how to build something simple out of electronics on YouTube. They make it seem like so easy. Ever since the economy crashed, I had to figure out how to do a lot of stuff. Like I, just like you were doing like cosplay or whatever, right? You made your own costumes, right? And then it turns out like, oh, I can do stuff better. I can make a better costume. I can this and that. There's stuff that I've actually paid for, like, that was like $60, and I made stuff that was way better. Can you see that? Here, let me go over here a little, change the angle. So this is with the black base gold, and this is with the yellow base gold. So it pops more, it has a different undertone, because it's literally on a yellow, it's more of like a cool yellow. This would be what you would call a cool yellow. It doesn't really show up on the camera the same true to life, because it's RGB. Yeah, you can look it up. Actually, see, you're like a brainy person too. Look up. There's documentaries. I think they're from PBS. I'm pretty sure it's PBS. Either that or it's BBC. Look up fractals. There are so many really cool, really well done fractal, like explaining fractals and how it was like a huge breakthrough in science and geometry and I mean, you remember taking 3D classes, right? Like 3D art, 3D animation classes, right? Back in the day. And we'd have to do stuff with fractals. Fractals explain how things look in nature with using geometry in patterns that you think is like rough or quote-unquote organic when it's actually a mathematic thing. That's another thing. So I'm getting like super geeky, nerdy right now. But I remember, so a lot of the people who are like anarchists, they're very fond of chaos theory. But if you go to fractals, it actually kind of nullifies chaos theory. I feel like chaos theory, personally, philosophically speaking, chaos theory is an explanation of things that's based on an ignorance of stuff, like you're missing it, and so to you call it chaos, right? But when you go to, because they'll be like, oh, well, chaos is everywhere, but even among chaos, all of a sudden there's order in chaos. But if you go to fractals, it completely, like, voids out that theory, because fractals explain it. Fractals, like, there you can do like equations and everything. And it's also like in the birth of how computers, like in cybernetics, which also comes from philosophy, how it grew and how they applied things to things that the human brain couldn't handle because it's so complex, but they got the computer to figure out fractals. It's absolutely beautiful, like applying it to art, applying it to sound, applying it to phone signals, everything. It's just incredible. So, and that's my geeky, nerdy blurb for the day, for the evening. Alright, so this is kind of thinning. You're hungry?
Yeah.
What do you want to eat? Oh, that's right, you have dumplings in the freezer.
Oh,
So you want me to cook you some dumplings? With the Chinese New Year dumplings?
yeah, have some dumplings. Oh, but you're streaming right now.
Don't worry, this battery's about to run out on my camera anyway. I'm probably gonna go soon and cook you some. my paint is kind of drying out a bit. Yeah, this is not very easy to see at night. I like to work on this in the daytime, actually. Alright, I'm gonna go. I don't know when I'll stream again. Sometimes I stream on Saturdays. Sometimes I don't. I try to. I really don't know. The weather is very unpredictable too. And also depends on what Roland is doing. Roland is like the director. He's the director and producer of the film that I'm working on. And yeah, my battery's really about to shut off. So anyway, this is just kind of something that I'll be working on, like I said, for probably a few months now. You just gotta be patient with it. I find that people find it to be soothing to watch me paint, or painting in general. Either that or people just really like dragons. I don't always stream the dragon on the weekends. I have the animation I want to work on and finish up, and I did finish up some, what do you call it, well, bye, I'll catch you when I can, okay. Yeah, my battery's like dead. Yeah, so I don't know what my schedule is, like, when stuff happens, it'll happen, so anyway, if you miss it, you can always rewatch it, or the rerun, like, because it saves the video. I feel like people don't realize that, like, it saves the video, so you can watch it if you wanted, if you miss it, so. Okay, I'm gonna go, for real this time, for realsies and stuff. Bye-bye.